And we're back with another CBB Talk with your boy Will Dickinson. And wow, it is March 31st. It's the last day of March, man. Wow, what a month. How many videos did I post in March? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 videos. This is going to be my 17th. So 17 out of 31 days, I uploaded a video on this channel, which is just, crazy. We started out the month with just saying March is here, and we talked about games, end of the regular season, we did our conference tournament videos, the bubble watch, the bracket came out, and now we're down to 4 teams remaining. And no one would have thought it's these 4 teams. So here is my Final Four preview, my official predictions preview in this Final Four right now. I said I was going to come out with my awards, but I feel like I'm going to do my award show after the Final Four. So next week, I will be doing my award show. I'm still, it takes a while. I'm coming up with a lot of cool different awards, about 10 different awards, I believe, and then we'll do my All-American team. So it's going to be a big episode. I'm expecting a lot of different things for that episode, so be tuned for that, because it might be the best episode I ever made of CBB Talk. Will be that Final Four episode. But we got to talk about the Final Four, because that's what it's all about. We have 2 games on Saturday in Houston to determine the national champion game, and then for an overall winner. The first game tips off at 6:09 p.m. It's San Diego State against FAU, a matchup that no one expected. 2 teams that are very similar in metrics. One team from a mid-major conference. I guess both of them are somewhat from a mid-major conference. Like, it's unexpected that both these teams are even in this position. Both these teams have never been to a Final Four, and they're looking to get, a place in the national championship. Which one of them will do? Let's start with Florida Atlantic. They're 35-3 overall, and wow, a team that probably was underseeded coming in the year. They're 18-2 in Conference USA. End up winning the conference in the regular season and the tournament, got a 9 seed, and ended up playing Memphis in the first round, getting a real competitive game. Ended up only winning that game by 1 point. Got a little lucky, but hey, they won. Then they go play 16 Fairleigh Dickinson, go win that game by 8. Beat Tennessee by 7. Then beat Kansas State by 3 to get to this national semifinal game. Of course, this team doesn't have a lot of big names, but they have 3 double-digit scores that all do in different ways. The leader from this whole tournament has been John L. Davis. He averages 14 points for them. He plays the 4. He's really a guard. They play really a 4-out, 1-in type style. They have he's a good guard. He really has took over games. That Memphis game, he took over down the stretch. Fairleigh Dickinson took over down the stretch. He's been their best player throughout the tournament. Elijah Martin actually may play more of the 4 for this team. He, of course, had that dunk against Fairleigh Dickinson that no one liked, but he averages 13 points there, and he shoots 37% from 3. This team's strength is shooting 3-pointers. Almost everyone on their team shoots above 35% from the field, and that's a strength. They shoot 45% of their shots from 3. And to win this game, you're going to need that. They've played this whole tournament confident, like they're supposed to be here. They said they're not a Cinderella, and they're not. This team is not a Cinderella, but it's a Cinderella-type story, that even that Florida Atlantic's in a chance to win a national championship. Vlad Golin's their center. He played big in that game against Kansas State. He averages 10 points for them. Nick Boyd's their starting point guard, really good player. Shoots almost 40% from 3 on the year. Greenlee also plays point guard. He averages 7 points. He's good. He shoots 40% from 3. Then they got Versado, Michael Forrest, off the bench. Jalen Gaffney plays a lot. So Witherspoon. So these guys all play big minutes for this team, and they're one of the deepest teams in the whole NCAA, but definitely in this Final Four, they're the deepest team, and they're playing against a San Diego State team who can match them in depth. But I think about this team's strength is they have 9 different players that give them good minutes and can come up huge in games. Greenlee is a point guard that can make shots, and he shoots at 40% clip. You cannot leave him open there. Rosado is a good playmaker out of the center position. He comes up and backs up Golden in times. Gaffney is not the greatest three-point shooter, but he can provide a shot there. Michael Force is an amazing free throw shooter at 75%, but he's hit big ones throughout the tournament there. And he hit big shots in that game against Fairleigh Dickinson and against Tennessee. This team's just super deep. Dusty May's done an amazing job. He's going to be up there for mine Coach of the Year. I think he was CBS Sports' Coach of the Year. And he's staying with FAU for next year. Reports have came out. We'll see in the future. And this team's moving to the American Conference next year. And they have the opportunity to keep all these players for one more season because Jono Davis is only a sophomore. I'm expecting him to stay. I guess he could have some NBA buzz. Elijah Martin's a sophomore. This team can run it back next year. Vlad Golan's sophomore. The only player they really lose is Michael Force. So this team next year, when I do my episodes after the next, after the offseason, we're talking about this later, will be my award show, of course, my transfer portal updates, and my preseason rankings. But this FAU team will be up there in my high rankings just because if they can return almost the whole team, and this team just made the Final Four, possibly a national champion, possibly win it all, they're going to be a top 10, top 25, definitely team if all things go according to plan at FAU. But this team is a team that I honestly believe can win it all. There's never been a team that's been a 9 seed or lower to ever make a national championship game. They're all the mid-majors that have made it there with that seed are 0-5 with an average loss, I think, around 14 points. And the most recent was Loyola Chicago, who lost by 12 to Michigan. VCU lost. George Mason's lost. Wichita State has lost. All these teams, haven't made the championship game. And I think this team has the best chance in Florida Atlantic. One, because of their opponent is San Diego State, and two, they've lost 3 games the whole year, and they're playing better than their mid-major. But next year, they're moving up conferences. Well, supposed to be moving up conferences. And they have really good players, really good depth, and a really good team. But the problem is they're running against a good San Diego State team who's the best defensive team left in this tournament and the second best defensive team in the whole country to adjusted defensive efficiency, right behind Tennessee, who the Owls beat. Which, one more thing about Florida Atlantic that helps them is they won against the best defense in the country in Tennessee, right? And they didn't score a lot of points that game. They ended up only scoring 62 in a win. And they've gone against really tough defenses. Tennessee's a little bit more physical than San Diego State. And San Diego State thrives on taking your 3-point shot out of the game. Teams are shooting 18% against them in the tournament. And that's just a real game changer for SDSU is that they don't allow teams to make the 3, and they don't do that all season. They are the second best team at defending the 3 in college basketball. And I always say, if a team shoots poorly against you one game and lose, and you win because of that, that's luck. But throughout the year, if teams keep doing that, then that's not luck. That's just good defense. And San Diego State's proven that teams don't shoot poorly against them. They consistently do, and that's a part of their defense. They run a very deep rotation. Of course, 31-6. They won the Mountain West tournament and regular season. And their leader throughout the year has been Matt Bradley. They have only one player that averages double digits. So when you think about San Diego State, they average around 71 points per game as a team, which is good. But in this tournament, they haven't done quite the same, which is not nerve-wracking to me because of the style of defense they play. 63, then they scored 75 against Furman, 71 against Alabama, 57 against Creighton. But it's the way that they play team defense is just really the strength of this team. And then Matt Bradley, their leader, has been played terrible throughout this tournament. Yeah, so what I was saying is, sorry, I had to take a quick break. Matt Bradley's not played good over the last couple games. Their leading score. This tournament, he had 17 against Charleston. Good game. But over the last 3, he shot 30, 22, and 12% from the field with 10 points, 6 points, 2 points. So his points have gone down every game in this tournament. And for them to win this game against FAU, which is no slouch of an opponent, they're going to have a good Matt Bradley game because they've had guys step up. Davion Trammell has been amazing this tournament. Lamont Butler stepped up huge in that last game. Ladie off the bench has been good. Keyshawn Johnson, who started every game this year, has been amazing offensively, but he's gave them moments out there. Nathan Menza, I mean, this is one of the best defensive players in the country. Was in the conversation for my defense player of the year. He again, not an amazing offensive player, but he gives so much on the defensive end, and they have 7 players that give him 20 minutes a game, and then one player that gives him 16, and one minute gives him 18. And there's a rope got good minutes down the stretch in that game against Creighton, and Ladie was amazing against Creighton. He had a couple clutch baskets over Kalkbrenner there. This team doesn't shoot amazing from three. They shoot around 35%, which isn't bad, but their opponents shoot 27. So that's the real differential against them. And their offense is going to have to heat up in this one. Again, their defense is their strength, and this one is very hard to predict. I think the beauty about both these games it's not the teams you expected, the matchups you maybe want as a casual college basketball fan, but I think both these teams, these are two teams that match up evenly for both games, and I think they're both going to be really competitive games. I don't anticipate a blowout, and watch it be on Saturday tomorrow that 2 15-point wins, but I expect at least one of these games to be coming down to one of the last possessions of the game, which you always want in the Final Four. Last year that UNC Duke game was amazing, and the Kansas Villanova one wasn't as good. I'm expecting at least one really good game, but hoping for both, and honestly believe that both these games will be inside 5.7 points down the stretch in the game. And then we're moving on to the second game, the nightcap, the more of the main event, is Miami versus UConn. Man, UConn's the overwhelmingly favorite to win this tournament. They're actually minus on the line there, so they're the clear-cut favorite to win it all. And they lost 8 games throughout the year, right? So this team isn't the dominant team throughout the year. Of course, they started out 14-0 and went through a rough patch in Big East play, including home loss to St. John's, on the road against Seton Hall. Those are games you shouldn't lose as a team that's going to be playing for a national championship. But throughout these tournament games, they've been dominant with 20-point win against Iona, 15-point win against, that was a 24-point win against Iona, 15-point win against St. Mary's, a 23-point win against Arkansas, and almost a 28-point win against Gonzaga. And this is another team that has a lot of depth. Of course, the star player is Adama Sanogo. He's been the star of this team throughout the tournament. He's just been a beast all around. And what I like about Sanogo is he wants to dominate inside. And he's not a guy that's super big and tall and dominant. Like Norchai Amir, who we're talking about a little bit, is not that tall. Is not tall either, but you can see his muscles. And Sanogo is a muscular player, but he's not overwhelmingly big. And he can stretch the floor a little bit, but I love that he just has that motor to keep going. He can hit. He's not scared to shoot the three. He shot 49 threes this season and makes him at 35% clip. My favorite player on this team is Jordan Hawkins. He has probably the best jump shot that in the tournament. Like, just watch his jumper. That thing is like, it's perfect. I don't know how to describe his jumper besides perfect. He's so good off the dribble. He hits difficult shots, quick release, and he's probably the best NBA talent in these 4 games. And I think if they go on to win the national championship and he's Final Four MVP or most outstanding player, I think he has a chance to go in the lottery. Tristan Newton, he averages almost 10 points a game. Solid playmaker. He's had a triple-double this year, maybe 2. He's a good player, and he's not the best point guard in this tournament for sure, right? Nigel Pack and Trammell have played better throughout the tournament, but he's a good leader for this team. Caravan and Joey Calcaterra, good shooters. Karaban gets a start. Calcaterra goes off the bench. Show him Naheem Halim. He's also a really good shooter for this team. Calcaterra shoots 44%. Karaban shoots 40%. And Naheem Halim's only shooting 33%, but he can make it. And then Donovan Klingle off the bench is just that's a game changer. We saw what he did against Gonzaga was really just protect the paint really well and be a guy who's a rim stopper when Sanogo is not really that. And you don't really get too much of a drop off when your best player's out of the game, which is a strength that UConn has that most other teams don't. And the depth of this tournament is in all three of these teams, and Miami's a little different with not strong depth. And then, of course, we got to talk about Andre Jackson. He really is just the glue of this team that puts everything together. He's not a great scorer. He shoots 28% from three and 65% from the line. But what separates him, and he only shoots 42% from field, so he's not a good offensive player, scoring-wise. But he's a great playmaker. He almost had a triple-double in that Elite Eight game. I think he had, 12 points, 8 assists, 10 rebounds. We see him fly in from nowhere, get the offensive rebound, pass it out, 3 buckets. He's a glue guy for this team. He's really a leader. He plays the 3, the 4. He does really anything he asks for. And we could see him back in a uniform in UConn next year, which I think everyone's rooting for, especially UConn fans. And yeah, this team is the favorite for a reason. And they're vulnerable. They are. A team like this is vulnerable because they've lost 8 games throughout the year. They didn't win their conference tournament or a regular season. So I'm not expecting them to breeze through these 2 games at all. They are my pick to win the national championship. There it is. I have it being Miami. I think Miami will cover. I think it's around 5.5 point favorites there. But I do think UConn is the favorite for the right reasons. But this team is not an overwhelming favorite in my mind. They're a vulnerable team. They've shown it throughout the year. And they are a 4 seed, which I predict them to be a 3 seed. I did. But I do think UConn is the favorite, but watch out because this Miami Hurricanes team can make shots. They finished first in the ACC, didn't win the tournament, lost to Duke, and they played amazing in this tournament. The worst game they played was that first round game against Drake. They scored 63 points and needed a late stretch down the end of the game to beat Drake, which Isaiah Wong was really the standout player in that game. Indiana was a great team performance there. As another great Isaiah Wong game. They're 85. In their last 3 games, they scored 80 points. 85 against Indiana, 89 against Houston. That game, Nigel Pack was amazing. The whole team played amazing. And then that comeback win against Texas, they had 88 in that one. So the offense is clicking. And, of course, Jordan Miller went perfect in that game. So this team has a lot of amazing scoring threats. Of course, the 3 I already mentioned was Isaiah Wong, Nigel Pack, and Jordan Miller. They're the 3 players on the team that make them go. 16 from Wong. Miller averages 15. Nigel Pack averages 14. Norchad also averages 13. Strong man inside. Good touch around the rim for his size. Poplar's a guy who can hit a 3, shoots 39% from 3 this season. Pack shoots 40, Wong shoots 38. So the strength of this team is hitting 3s. And UConn is an amazing 3-point defense. So if Miami can get hot from 3, which they did against Houston, they can definitely beat UConn. But the weakness of the Miami team is depth. Bensley Joseph is the guy who plays the most minutes off the bench. He's a good 3-point shooter guard. Beverly plays a little bit. And we didn't get a lot of minutes from Anthony Walker or Casey. So if they get into foul trouble, if Amir or Miller get into foul trouble, they're going to have to go more to the bench there, which worries me a little bit. And that's why they're definitely the least depth. They're the most dependent team on their starters out of the 4 left. But the strength about Miami is they can catch fire at any point, and they can win in multiple ways. We saw against Texas, they didn't hit a lot of 3s. I think they hit 2 or 3 the whole game, and they came out and come back against Texas because they got to the line. So if they can get to the line and make their shots, and they got to play decent defense. They're not a great defense team, but they can play decent defense and stay out of foul trouble, make your shots and get to the line. This team can catch fire from offense and can beat a UConn team and go to the national championship. UConn's a tough matchup, though. I do think UConn's going to win this game. And in the first game, it's hard for me to predict, but give me San Diego State. I know I'm going with the favorites, But the reason I am is I think what team has a better chance to win is FAU beating San Diego State than Miami, because San Diego State's offense is not good. UConn's offense is good, and their defense is better than Miami. So I'll lean towards my UConn that one. But FAU can definitely beat San Diego State. But both these games, man, I honestly believe are going to be so good. I know this is not going to be the most popular Final Four. I understand that this will not this won't make the public jump out of their seats and go turn on if they haven't watched any college basketball games throughout the year. But trust me, watch these games because I promise you they're going to be good games, man. And if they're not, I'll come on here on Sunday morning after those games and admit I was wrong. I will admit it. But trust me, I'm expecting really, really good games here. One team that has never been in this spot will go to the national championship in San Diego State or FAU. And UConn will try to become the best program in the last 20, 25 years. They might already be, but this would probably claim it. And Miami is a team that Jim Larinaga has never been in this spot. He's one of the greatest coaches to do it. I mean, amazing guy. How can you not root for him? And Miami program who's never been in this spot either, a football-first school who's now been to back-to-back Elite Eights and now a Final Four, who's slowly turned the edge with a lot of great players. Not the biggest names, but really good players all around. We'll probably have one All-American in this game, maybe two. I'll see what my All-American teams look like. Sanogo will be in there for sure. Maybe Wong will. We'll see. But yeah, man, I'm ready for the Final Four. Houston, get ready. Last time I was in Houston, it was amazing. Sorry, not for Carolina fans, but for everyone else, that was really cool. So yeah, I'm expecting another great Final Four. Can't wait to see Jim Nance on the call for the last time. Raph, Grant Hill, CBS. I mean, the Final Four, man. What else do you expect except unexpected stuff? So be ready, because we're gonna see some really good games and some really cool stories and some good players. So yeah, I'm expecting UConn, San Diego State in the national championship game. We'll see if I'm right. See you on Sunday, and we'll know what happens, and we'll be talking about it and getting ready for the Natty. All right, peace.